Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Kane, and I'm the Marketing Manager for Wonderware NorCal. Thank you for attending our webinar today. It's new with InTouch and System Platform 2014 R2. After the webinar this morning, we will be doing a short Q&A. Please type any questions or comments into the Q&A box, the chat box, or email us at webinar@norcal.wonderware.com. Now, I'd like to introduce your presenter for today's webinar, Mike Lapitan. Mike is an automation industry expert and has been a Wonderware NorCal product specialist for the past 8 years. Good morning, Mike.
Hi, good morning, Kelly. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our new webinar, What's New with InTouch and System Platform 2014 R2. Lots of new and exciting things to talk about. So for all you existing Wonderware customers out there, there's lots to offer with the new features of 2014 R2. And again, for you existing customers, we appreciate your business and we really enjoy working with you. And for our new potential customers out there, thank you for joining us for the webinar, and we hope to answer your questions during the webinar and certainly after the webinar as well. So our topics today, we're going to look at InTouch modernization, how to modernize your existing InTouch applications. Lots of existing InTouch out there. A lot of it hasn't been changed over the years, and Wonderware's making it really easy now to take advantage of the new features. We'll show you how to do that in a demo. We'll talk about what situational awareness graphics are and how to take advantage of those and how it leverages industry best practices. We'll talk about how the new features leverage industry best practices for alarm management. And we'll talk about some new engineering tools, specifically with System Platform. We'll do a demo on auto I/O assignment, so how to auto connect to your PLC I/O. And then we'll talk about just some general new enhancements for IT and deployment friendliness. So a little bit of background on Wonderware today. 1/3 of the world's plants use Wonderware to run their facilities. We've been around since 1987. We're the first Windows-based HMI and SCADA software platform, and we've got the longest preservation of investment of any SCADA software vendor out there. So for over 25 years, we've been able to take your existing applications, move them forward over time without having to rebuild. And so it's very unique in the marketplace, and our customers certainly appreciate that. We work with a large system integrator partner channel. Wonderware allows you to start small and grow incrementally over time, so prove return on investment by starting with a small installation and then grow as your business needs grow and add functionality as your business requires. So Wonderware is the #1 HMI on the market. At Wonderware NorCal, we've been your Wonderware resource since 1992. We provide local training based out of San Francisco as well as out of Lake Forest, which is where Wonderware corporate is in Southern California. That's where development is based out of, as well as the corporate training facility. We have free local workshops. We'll talk more about what's coming up here that you guys can attend to get some free hands-on training. We offer webinars like today. We have local technical support, so we're the first line of defense. If you have any Wonderware technical questions, we have full-time dedicated staff to answer your questions now. We provide system consulting and licensing sales, and we have over 70 registered Wonderware system integrator partners here in Northern California that can help you with projects if needed. I'd like to take just a moment here and show you our website, norcal.wonderware.com. Lots of useful information here, links on training, of our training schedule here. We have a Dream Reports training coming up on March 4th. Very cool reporting tool that works with both Wonderware and non-Wonderware automation systems to help simplify report generation and creation. We offer workshops, which are free. We have a workshop next Wednesday, February 11th, on Wonderware Machine Edition. So if anybody has touch panels and they maybe need to upgrade, replace, or have new touch panel applications, Wonderware Machine Edition is very easy to use and very cost-effective, about half the price of a lot of the competitive touch panels out there. And you can actually see pricing right on our website here today with this build your own. You can pick the size of the touch panel you need and get a price right on our website. And then you can view upcoming webinars as well and look at all recorded webinars. So if you click on View a List of Recorded Webinars, we'll be recording the webinar today. You can share with other people, send them the link. You can also look at previous webinars on different topics of interest to you. Okay, and we also have a roadshow coming up, and that'll be coming up in March. We're going to Peters and Sacramento and Rohnert Park. We also have a YouTube video website where you can look at a lot of different videos we have on different product solutions and technical videos and customer success stories if you go to our YouTube channel. So we have full-time dedicated phone technical support. 94% of all calls were answered live back in May of 2014. So nothing's offshore. Everything is local in your language. Folks that know the product can answer your questions right away. So that's very important to our customers. So let's look at the summary of new features in Wonderware System Platform 2014 R2. This came out in December of 2014. And so for our InTouch customers, we are now offering what are called InTouch Modern applications. Gives you tighter integration with ArchestrA Graphics. So anybody who's not taken advantage of ArchestrA Graphics, now you don't have a reason not to. We've made it very easy. We've allowed you to now convert your existing InTouch windows to ArchestrA Graphics as well. So we'll talk about what that means and the advantages. Support for new app server alarm functionality, connectors and connection points, history summary data types, a new data type to leverage summary history inside of InTouch. We'll talk more about that. You can now have both read-only and rewrite InTouch licenses on the same terminal server. So if you've got some casual users that need to connect to the terminal server and they don't need to actually do any control, then you can actually mix a read-write license and a read-only license on the same terminal server. We have some new situational awareness graphics, including trends, alarm symbols, valves, and then for application server, we've got new capabilities for upgrading without having to experience any downtime, alarm shelving, plant-based alarm suppression, new scripting capabilities, a simplified object editor, which we're going to show you, and how you can use that to auto-assign to a PLC. And then with the historian, we can now log alarm and events directly to the Wonderware historian and history blocks. So we'll talk about the benefits of that. So let's take a look at introducing InTouch Modern applications. So why modern InTouch apps? Because it allows you to leverage the power and benefits of ArchestrA Graphics with the traditional InTouch ease of use. So it's all about ease of use with InTouch, continuing InTouch's legacy of ease of use, and now getting the new graphics. So why use ArchestrA Graphics? For one, InTouch memory tags count against your license, but custom properties inside of ArchestrA Graphics don't. So you can actually reduce your tag count and reduce your licensing cost. ArchestrA Graphics allow you to reuse graphics and promote change propagation. I'll do a demo for that and show you what that looks like. They're more advanced graphics, so there's more animations available. It's a whole new symbol editor that allows you to really get creative in how you build graphics. You can embed .NET controls and .NET scripting inside of graphics for more advanced programmers. They're vector-based graphics. For no other reason other than this, ArchestrA Graphics scale really well as you move from different monitor resolutions. And so that's very common nowadays. We've got a lot of legacy monitors out there with 4:3 resolution, 4:3 aspect ratio, you know, like 1024 set by 768, for example, a common 15-inch monitor. And nowadays, people are moving to 16:9 aspect ratio widescreen monitors with 1920 by 1080 high resolution, and so ArchestrA Graphics allow you to your InTouch windows to go shrink and grow and stretch and not lose the resolution. So old style graphics, really things started to get distorted and fonts got resized undesirably. And so vector-based graphics allow you to take an InTouch application, an InTouch window, and really open it up on any monitor you want, whether it be a laptop, a touch screen, your widescreen desktop monitor, or even your phone or your tablet. So regardless of the resolution of the monitor you're opening up your InTouch app on, the ArchestrA Graphics and Windows will scale really nicely. And that's really nice, especially now that people want to have centralized server-based InTouch and have all the clients access an InTouch application running on a server. Okay, so there's new connectors and connection points with ArchestrA Graphics. We'll talk about those. Okay, so it gives you a path to move into the future with your existing InTouch applications. And so what you can see here is Window Maker, and now we have the ArchestrA Graphic Toolbox embedded directly inside of Window Maker. And then you can also edit the custom properties, go into the ArchestrA Graphic Editor, create new custom properties, and we'll show you what that looks like here in a demo. You can convert existing InTouch windows to ArchestrA Graphics. So just to be clear here, this doesn't actually change the graphics, the way they look, meaning it's not going to take an old graphic and convert it to a new style graphic, but what it's going to do is it's going to change it to the InTouch window to a vector-based window that can be edited inside of the ArchestrA symbol editor. So again, you get the advantages of that resolution independence. So not having to worry about what resolution monitor you open up that InTouch window on, and it can scale really nicely. So that allows you to then take that InTouch window inside of the ArchestrA symbol editor, and then you can customize it with any ArchestrA Graphics, custom properties, .NET scripting that you like. So let's go ahead and do this demo. Let's find out how to create a new modern InTouch application, how to upgrade an existing InTouch application to a modern application, how to convert an existing InTouch window to an ArchestrA Graphic, and then how to use ArchestrA Graphics in Window Maker. Okay, so I'm in my good old InTouch Application Manager here. Let's say I wanted to create a new InTouch modern application. I would traditionally just click my New button here inside of InTouch Application Manager, and by default, it's going to create a modern InTouch application. And what that does is it allows me to get ArchestrA Graphics right inside of Window Maker. It's that easy. If I don't want to use ArchestrA Graphics, I can just create a legacy InTouch application, and I won't see the ArchestrA Graphic toolbox inside of Window Maker. But we encourage everybody to take advantage of the new technology now. Okay, now what if I have an existing InTouch application and I want to convert that, upgrade it, and get ArchestrA Graphics? Well, just like I would upgrade an InTouch application in the past, I would go find my InTouch application. Here it is on the desktop, and I can see now here I've got a version 10.6 InTouch application. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And it says that my application was developed with an older version of InTouch. Do I want to migrate this application? This is the same as how it's always been. If I want to upgrade an InTouch application, I would click Yes. And it says your current application is not enabled for use of ArchestrA Graphics. Would you like to enable it? I would click Yes. That's just the same as creating a new InTouch application and choosing Modern. Okay, so if I click Yes, it's going to upgrade my InTouch application automatically from 10.6 now to 11.1, and I will get the ArchestrA Graphics. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this, and I've already converted this application. So just to save time here, I've already converted it. And so this is that same application here that now says it's 11.1 and it's modern, okay? And so modern means that I can use ArchestrA Graphics. Then I'll go ahead and open up this application I've already upgraded. Something else that's new here, if I right-click and go to Properties, I can lock the window size. What that means is that if an application was built, for example, for 1024 by 768, and I want to open it up on my widescreen monitor on my desktop that's 1920 by 1080, I can check that box for lock window size. That'll allow me to open up the InTouch application in its native resolution without converting window sizes, and I can keep everything the same, all my windows, and I can do development on my widescreen monitor, but keep the window sizes in the InTouch application at the same resolution that it was built in. So that's a really nice advancement there. I'm going to go ahead and now just double-click on my InTouch application that I've upgraded, and I've chosen to make it a modern application. Okay, so you'll see that this is going to be an old legacy InTouch application here. This is my old Reactor demo. Okay, so we've probably seen this before. So what I can do now is I'm going to take my Reactor display and I'm going to convert it to an ArchestrA symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and just close these windows. And I'm going to right-click on my Reactor display window, and I'm going to click Convert to ArchestrA symbol. So the window's converting. It's creating the symbol. The window conversion is done. Okay. And so now, if I open it up, I can actually open this converted window up inside of the ArchestrA symbol editor. And so what this means now is that it's a vector-based window. It's going to scale really nicely as I move from different resolutions on different monitors. And I can add now custom properties. I can add ArchestrA Graphics if I want to now. So these are all available, all with just being in Window Maker. So I'm going to click Cancel here. And so now also we see that we have the ArchestrA Graphics Toolbox right inside of Window Maker. So if I, for example, go ahead and I open up a vessel here, and I go find a tank cylinder vert fill, I can drag this over to my InTouch window. I can drop it right in there. Okay, I can double-click on this ArchestrA symbol, and I can start assigning the custom properties to tags. So I'll go ahead and assign this tag here to my $second tag. And I'm going to change the max value to 60. Okay, and so you can see I can have the new graphics right side by side next to the old legacy graphics. And if I switch to runtime here, I can see that I've embedded an ArchestrA graphic inside of my InTouch window, and the old graphics are running right next to the new graphics. Okay, so it's that easy. So let's take this a step farther and look at some of the advantages of ArchestrA Graphics. So I'm going to go ahead and embed this tank again a second time, and I'm going to assign it to a different tag, and I'll assign it this time to this $minute, and also make the max value 60. Okay, and so now I've got two ArchestrA graphic tanks, one that's signed to $second, one that's signed to $minute. Now, what if I open up the parent graphic of where these graphics were derived from? I'm going to go ahead and double-click this time. Instead of dragging it over to the window, I'm going to double-click on this tank, and I'm going to say, you know what? I want to add a meter to this tank. I'm going to go ahead and drop a meter and put it right next to this tank and click Save and Close. So check this out. Now I've got automatically propagated to my children graphics the new meter that I added to the parent graphic. And so now if I double click on one of these, I can also configure my meter. So I'll also configure this meter for my $second. Change my max value to 60, and then I'll do the same thing for my $minute meter, and change the default max value to 60, go into runtime, and so very quickly I can start to see the power of ArchestrA Graphics. How I can do change propagation from a parent graphic down to children graphics. Very easy to use, very powerful. The symbol editor where I can come in here and edit this parent graphic. Click Edit Symbol. Very powerful drawing tools where I can leverage all of the tools that were built to use ArchestrA Graphics are exposed inside of this drawing environment. So I can import existing pictures, bitmaps, PNGs, JPEGs, etc. But I can also create my own graphics and create my own custom properties and animations, do .NET scripting inside of this environment. Okay, so that is getting started with ArchestrA Graphics inside of Window Maker. So that's a modern InTouch application. In the past, I had to go into the ArchestrA IDE. I don't have to even know what the IDE is anymore. No reason to use the IDE if I just want to use ArchestrA Graphics inside of my existing InTouch application. Notice also the situational awareness library is here, and we'll show you an example demo of what the situational awareness library brings to the table. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close Window Maker. Okay, so situational awareness is a design philosophy for a better operator experience. So what's the purpose of an HMI, a human-machine interface, is to help operators run the plant efficiently, safely, and reliably. And so how do we effectively build HMIs to make it as easy as possible for operators to do just that? Well, with situational awareness graphics, and this comes out of some of the industry best practices, white papers and books that have been written about building effective operator displays. And so now Wonderware InTouch comes preloaded with over 200 symbols and wizards to adopt situational awareness principles. They can be used as is or as a foundation for customizing your own symbols and inspiring your own ingenuity here. So these are examples of situational awareness graphics, these line charts or spark charts, trend charts, different graphics that have a lot of context in them. So there's a new pen trend, there's a new alarm border we'll show you. These are the connectors and connection points that are new, so that you can, just like in Visio, you can build flow charts and create connection points and connectors, and those will, as you move the graphics and the blocks around, the connection points and connectors will follow the graphic around. So that's a new capability. So let's take a quick look at a InTouch situational awareness demo. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to launch InTouch Access Anywhere, which is web-based InTouch. So this was new about a couple years ago. I'm going to go to a web page and click Connect, and that's going to launch my InTouch application. So that's called InTouch Access Anywhere. That's a capability that anybody can use now to have web-based InTouch, access your InTouch application just by going to a web page, just like you're doing now. And so you can see the situational awareness demo is kind of grayscale. It's it's not very flashy, but the point is that right now everything's running normal, so we don't really need to highlight any area of the plant, any specific graphics, because everything's running normal. Now, if I go over to this operational sample here, I can see, oh, I've got a yellow alarm border. It's got a 2 on that. So that'd be a level 2 priority alarm. So it makes it very intuitive and easy for an operator to direct their attention to this area or this instrument in the plant to say, hey, this is approaching maybe a high alarm state. I need to go pay closer attention to that. So again, by limiting the use of color and animation, it makes it very easy for an operator without even much training to know where to focus their attention on. So now they maybe can drill into that area, and so I'll go drill into filter 100 here. Okay. So these lightweight trend pens, these are part of the situational awareness graphics. So we have a lot of different trend tools, but this one specifically is for lightweight overviews of historical data. So I can see how have I been running over time, and that you can specify what period of time that is, if that's over the last hour, 8 hours, 1 day. So I can see in context, what's my desired operating range, where have I been, where am I currently at, and then I can double click if I need to into my operational screen, my traditional HMI. So this isn't to replace your traditional HMI, it's just to give you kind of a dashboard overview. And so you can see that we've got some example dashboards of how to use ArchestrA Graphics, where you can have things sorted based on productivity, for example, or based on alarm counts. Okay, so there's a lot of books and white papers written around, why these types of graphics can make it very intuitive and contextual. So again, over on the upper left here, we see some again, medium priority alarms, some yellow alarm borders. So we can see that our real-time value is dipping below into a low level. Right? So I've got a red high priority alarm now, right? So I'm dipping, really low now over here. So this might be my desired set point over here. I can see I'm in my low alarm limit, okay? So again, it makes it very easy to have that type of information pop out to the operator. Just some more example charts and graphs that are available in the Situational Awareness Graphic Library. And here's a new alarm display we have as well. Allows you to look at alarms by area and by equipment, by severity. And then also have a bar chart to see the number of alarms I've had and the severity of those alarms by area or equipment. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to situational awareness graphics and InTouch Access Anywhere and the alarm border animation. So in summary for InTouch 2014, there's a lot of tools to allow you to leverage best practices for building HMIs with situational awareness, allows you to increase engineering efficiency by simplifying the use of ArchestrA Graphics, be able to leverage those vector-based graphics and all of the new power that you have to build really effective operator HMIs inside of the ArchestrA Graphic Editor. So let's take a look at some new features for System Platform 2014 R2. So alarm management is a very big one. Just like situational awareness graphics, there's a lot of industry best practices and books and white papers that have been written around alarm management and best practices. So what we've done now is we've taken all of the industry experts' recommendations for alarm management. We've built that into the product. So the concept of alarm priorities, a critical alarm could be described as a total loss of plant with maybe economic loss of greater than $100,000. A high alarm priority might be a loss of a plant area that could be in excess of an economic loss of $10,000. So this just gives you an idea of how you might rank the criticality of alarms. And then so what we've done in Wonderware, which has allowed you to assign your alarm priorities and the severities, and then again what color you want your standards to be, like for alarm borders. You want your number 1 critical alarms to be red, number 2 high priority alarms to be yellow. So you get to choose which your standards are for colors to create standards of how to alert operators of what the severity of an alarm would be. So the alarm border animation will take those color standards that you've built, and automatically with any ArchestrA graphic, you can have it automatically border on that color that you've designated and have a global style so that you've got standards and consistency throughout your application without having to do individual scripting inside of each individual graphic. It becomes a global property. So if this graphic has a critical alarm, then it gets an alarm border of red around it, maybe with a 1 as a number, so that it makes it very easy for people to tell what's going on. So new feature state-based suppression, so you can enable, disable, and silence alarms based on plant states. Examples of plant states would be the plant's running, so I want to enable alarms. Maybe the plant's in maintenance, I want to disable alarms. If the plant's in startup, maybe I want to silence alarms. If I'm in shutdown, I want to disable alarms. So they allow you to do that here again as a global property, so you can silence alarms, disable them, and enable them based on your plant state. You can set plant states for individual areas, so that's leveraging the system platform model. Alarm shelving, also a highly requested feature that's now been included. So shelving of alarms is similar to hitting the snooze button on your alarm clock. Allows you to have alarms not show up for a specified period of time, and you can give a reason why you're shelving an alarm, and there's an audit trail on that history of why you shelved an alarm. And so the alarm will be hidden. You won't see it for that period of time that you specify, and you can specify, which criticality of alarms can be shelved, and who has the ability to do that. From an operator standpoint, but then after that shelve period expires, then the alarms come back. So that's a very common scenario in a maintenance activity where you want to shelve an alarm, or maybe at a testing period where you're testing instrumentation, commissioning new equipment, and you need to have a history of those alarms, but for that period of time, you don't want those to show up and be nuisance alarms. So you give a reason and a duration for shelving the alarms. We now have the ability to log your alarms directly to the Wonderware historian in the history blocks. And so for traditional relational databases, if you have around 100 records a second, that's typically fine for putting the data directly into SQL Server, like we've traditionally done with our alarm database. By putting the alarms into our history blocks, you can have up to 1,000 alarms a second stored into the historian's history blocks. So for large applications, you get alarm floods, you get a lot of alarms at once, and you need to be able to store those, record those reliably. You can now put those directly into the history blocks, which is the traditional historian's method of really compressing and having highly efficient data collection. So it's very simple. Just like logging your process data to the Wonderware Historian, you can now historize your alarms and events with a checkbox into the Wonderware Historian. So there's a new alarm toolset. So this is a nice new graphic addition to really reduce the amount of time it takes to build alarm displays. So we've built a lot of alarm display functionality right out of the box for you, so you don't have to custom build alarm displays. Okay, so let's take a look at some engineering improvements here. So autocomplete. If you start typing in a reference, an attribute into an IO reference box, then you'll start getting the autocomplete. So that's nice. You don't have to go search and browse so much. If you know the beginning of a tag or a property, it will bring up the autocomplete. So that's nice for engineering efficiency. For scripting, there's new scripting enhancements. So autocomplete for me.references, mycontainer.net scripting, undo, redo, indications for detected syntax errors and line numbering. For additional scripting improvements, we now have try-catch for those .NET programmers. We can now use show graphic and hide graphic for InTouch windows. Okay, so if anybody, again, is an advanced HMI programmer, show graphic and hide graphic for both ArchestrA Graphics and Windows is a very powerful script to really build effective operator displays. Reduce the amount of windows you need to hard code graphics into. You can call graphics in Windows through scripting. So you can create menus and just call. Graphics can basically become windows. You don't have to create windows to embed graphics into. You can just call the graphic itself and place it anywhere on a window. We also have script functions for retrieving timestamp and quality of custom properties and symbols. So again, for advanced programmers, this is very, very efficient. Okay, so this is a really big deal for System Platform now. There's an improved unified attribute namespace. And so this brings together field attributes as well as user-defined attributes and extensions. So field attributes are coming from a PLC, from the field, real I/O, and then user-defined attributes are those memory tags. So in the past, we had separate tabs for user-defined attributes and for field attributes. Now they're all in a single tab called attributes. It makes it much cleaner, and you can actually have a lot more user-defined attributes and field attributes, and it really simplifies things. So you can have an upper limit of 60,000 attributes now. Allows you to duplicate, copy, paste, import, export. Those are available on all templates. We're going to do a demo on this, and we're also going to do a demo on a new feature for I/O assignment. So this is taking advantage of modern controllers, for example, ControlLogix that has a UDT, user-defined type, where you've got a structured name already in the PLC. If you create an object that mirrors or mimics the same structure in the PLC, we can auto-bind to the PLC. So we're going to do a demo on this. And so the basics of it is, if I've got a inlet valve here in this case, and our inlet pump, and it's part of a reactor, and then I have an attribute that it's running. So I would have in my PLC a function or an object called reactor, and then a piece of equipment called inlet pump, and then an attribute for running, or pressure in this case. So that's the hierarchical name, and then this is the PLC that it's coming from, and then that's the attribute, is pressure in this case. So what's the workflow looks like this. So here's your PLC code with your structure of your UDT, your user-defined type, where I've got a reactor with an inlet valve. And then you build that same structure in Wonderware System Platform. I've got a reactor and an inlet valve or an inlet pump. And then here in my attribute tab, when it automatically can populate the reference of where it's going to get that data from. And then lastly, I assign that object or that area to a device integration object. So that's the PLC map, where the PLC is physically located. So I can validate that I've got connectivity and I've got data from that PLC before I even deploy my objects. So we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to create a new user-defined object. We're going to add an attribute, assign an object to a device integration object, and validate our PLC and I/O connectivity. So I'm going to go ahead and connect to my Galaxy here. And I'm going to open up my template toolbox. And here I've got a user-defined object. I'm going to go ahead and create a new instance. So that's a runtime instance of an object here. And I'm going to call this just tank1. So tank_1. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and drop tank_1 underneath my demo area. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add an attribute to my tank1. Okay, so here is my new centralized attribute tab here for both field attributes and user-defined attributes, memory tags. So I'm going to click Add. So I'm going to go ahead and say my tag is going to be called ramp2. And this is going to be a float. And I'm going to make this an I/O tag, right? Instead of a memory tag, this is going to be an I/O tag. So I'm going to click I/O. So I can see that it's already creating the address of the I/O device, tank1.ramp2. So that's all I need to do. I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Close. And it's reminding me I haven't actually assigned this object to an I/O device, so I'm going to go ahead and do that next. Here's my I/O device. I've called it PLC, and this is my in this case, I'm connecting to Top Server or Software Toolbox Kepware. It's running on my local host here, and the server name is server_runtime. If you are using an Allen Bradley control logics, then this would be the DAS-ABCIP. That's the Allen Bradley CIP protocol DA server. And then the topic is the scan group. And I've just created a topic called simulation. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm connecting to my top server driver here. There's my ramp2. And I can see that I've got some data here under ramp2. Okay, so this is my PLC object that's pointing to my top server. So what I'm going to do now with over here on I/O devices, as you can see, there's my PLC with my simulation topic. I'm going to go ahead and take my tank1, and I'm going to drop it underneath simulation. Okay, so now I see that underneath simulation. I'm going to go ahead and click on tank1. I can see it down here. Now, because I don't actually have tank_1 in my PLC, right? If this was a Control Logics or another PLC with the UDT, I would have that tank1 in the I/O name. But in this particular I/O server, I don't have tank1 listed in my tag name here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to overwrite that, and I'm just going to say it's just ramp2. I'm going to take away the tank1. So I can see now that my map is PLC.simulation.ramp2. I can go and click Validate Reference. And so I got a value. There's my runtime value of 200.5. So if I went in here, I could see that this is still floating around, but it was 200.5 when I validated it. And so that is how you can auto-bind to your PLC and test it without having to hard code any item addresses of the PLC. And I didn't even deploy this object, so I was able to verify connectivity to the PLC and the value, and now I can go ahead and deploy it, and now my graphic will animate and so on. Okay, so that is the new attribute editor inside of System Platform and how to auto-assign I/O to your PLC's UDTs. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so in Historian 10.0, we introduced what are called summary tags, and summary tags allow the historian to automatically calculate things like min, max, average, in any schedule that you want. So 1 hour, 1 day, 15 minutes, for example. So for reports that you may need to do, or you may need to look at, what's the average over the last hour, and I want to see that now in my HMI inside of InTouch, I can actually do that with a custom property using the new data type called History Summary. So inside of InTouch, if I want to see real time, what's my hourly average, what's my hourly min, my hourly flow, my daily flow, you can now leverage the historian summary tags right inside of InTouch. So that's really cool. So let's take a look at some of the IT and deployment friendliness enhancements. So just some of the defaults for System Platform have been improved based on what we've learned. Defaults for app engine scan periods and checkpoint periods, DI object scan times. Inside of the System Management Console, we have improved platform and engine diagnostics so that you can really do things that you previously had to go into the IDE for. So platform remover, actual states of engines, are they on scan, off scan? Redundant engines show which platform they're running on. You can force failover directly from the System Management Console. So a lot of things that you had to do programmatically before now is built right into the System Management Console. The redundant pair upgrades are a really big deal to allow you to do upgrades, version upgrades without experiencing any downtime. So it allows you to upgrade one engine at a time, so you can force failover to one engine, upgrade the partner engine, and then you can force failover up to the upgraded partner engine, and then upgrade the other engine. So what this means is just minimizing or eliminating downtime when doing version upgrades. Okay, so upcoming events, we've got a workshop next week on Wonderware Machine Edition. Again, please register for that at norcal.wonderware.com. We have historian training coming up this month. We have a Dream Report training 2 days in March. It's a really great class for reporting customers. And then we have our NorCal 2015 user group coming up in March, and we're going to be traveling to Milpitas, Sacramento, and Rohnert Park. So in summary, InTouch and System Platform 2014 R2 is one of the most feature-rich releases ever, continuing our ease of use and strong investments in HMI and SCADA, and preserving your engineering investment. And so if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat panel of the WebEx, and we can take questions now.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. We've received some great feedback, so this is all great stuff. So the first question that has come in is how do they get the new version and license upgrades?
Yeah, sure thing. So for our existing customers who want to upgrade as part of your support contract, all you have to do is send an email. You can send it directly to webinar@norcal.wonderware.com or contact your sales rep or technical support at 866-WONDER-N, and just request your license upgrades. And so we'll send you out all of your upgraded licenses, as well as the new DVDs that include Microsoft SQL Server. If you are on the Wonderware Developer Network, which is the Wonderware Tech Support website, you can download the latest version from there as well. Just ask, and we will send you out the latest version upgrades, and that is the advantage of having Wonderware Customer First.
Great, thank you. The next question is, now I need more training. Will there be a hands-on workshop soon in San Francisco? I think the next one is in May. Mike, do you have the website open still?
Yeah.
Can you bring that up?
We want to look at the next workshop?
The next InTouch, yeah, May 13th is the next InTouch workshop. Yeah,
next InTouch workshop is in May. And so, yeah, the training will also be updated to reflect all this as well. So, right now, the next application server training class is in March. We'd have to check and see if that's going to be using 2014 R2 or not. That might be right on the cusp, but I know that it will be coming soon here, the official training class. If you just want training on new features as well, there's really good documentation, and we can also do on-site lunch and learns and WebExes. So just let us know what you're interested in, and we can get you educated.
Okay. Is it possible to embed ActiveX controls in InTouch?
Yeah, ActiveX controls and .NET controls. So ActiveX controls, that capability has been inside of InTouch for a long time. And then now with the ArchestrA Graphics, you can embed .NET controls. And so, you know, if I were to jump back in to InTouch here, you can come here to Special and configure Wizard ActiveX installation. Yep.
Okay. Do I need to install GR on the InTouch mode to use the modern version?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and so that really is the benefit of the InTouch Modern, is that you don't have to do anything special right when you install. If you just want to use InTouch with ArchestrA Graphics, just pick when you do the product-based installation, just check the box for InTouch development. That's all you need to check. You don't need to check Galaxy Repository or IDE or any of that. Just check the box for InTouch development, and then when you open up InTouch Application Manager, when you create a new InTouch application, just select Modern InTouch Application. So nothing you need to install other than just InTouch development when you want to develop with InTouch and ArchestrA Graphics.
Okay. And then does the alarms logged to history block count as one historized tag license?
Oh, that's a good question. No, they do not. So just like the traditional alarm database, alarms that are logged, those are not counted as tags. So alarms that are saved to the historian and history blocks do not count against the historian tag count.
All right, and it looks like that is the last of them. So I think that's all the questions. So thank you, Mike. This was great, and thanks everyone for attending. This webinar was recorded. So if you'd like to review any portion of this webinar, the recording will be available on our website, norcal.wonderware.com, later this afternoon. Again, thanks everyone for attending, and have a great weekend.
Great, thank you, everyone.